I kissed my fiance's father after he rejected me. What the hell are you saying? I asked angrily to my fiancé, who had just come to me with shocking news. You're hearing right, Atlas. I can't do this wedding anymore. I'm in love with someone else, he replied casually, as if those words had no meaning. I grabbed his hand and pointed at all the wedding decorations around us. How can you say this? Our wedding decorations are in full swing and all the guests have been invited. The wedding is only a few days from now, Ryan. You can't get cold feet now. He pulled his hand away and replied, I'm not getting cold feet. I've just realized that I'm in love with someone else, and I don't want to ruin my life or yours by marrying you. Ruin my life? I chuckled humorously. You've already done so. 3 years of relationship, and you just destroyed it in a few seconds. Don't be so dramatic, Atlas. You should be glad I'm telling you this before our wedding and not on the wedding day, he said. How could you be so cruel? I shouted in anguish. Relax, I'm sure you'll find the love of your life too, he said, smiling annoyingly. You were the love of my life, Ryan, I shot back. Please, think again. As a last resort, we can postpone the wedding, I pleaded. I've already made up my mind, Atlas. This wedding is not happening. I don't want to hear anything more. I'm leaving, he said and started walking away. Ryan, you're just going to leave me like this? In the middle of all of our wedding preparations? I called out after him, but he just ignored me and soon disappeared from my sight. I sank to the ground in despair and anger, my heart aching with pain. As tears streamed down my face, it felt as though I had lost everything. A week later. I lay in my bed staring at the ceiling. I wasn't really thinking anything, but just felt empty. In the blink of an eye, everything had been taken away from me. Ryan and I had been together for 3 years. It was impossible to imagine life without him, and yet he had broken off our engagement like it was nothing. I heard my phone ringing, and I picked it up absent-mindedly. Atlas, don't tell me you're still moping around for that jerk, someone shouted on the phone. Who is this? I asked, confused, still not fully present. It's your friend Lucas, stupid. Did you forget everyone because of that guy? Oh, hello, Lucas. What do you want? I'm not really in the mood to talk, I said with a sigh. Yeah, I know you're still pining for that scumbag, Lucas retorted. Please don't call him that, I defended him. I know you still love him, but after hearing what I have to say, you'll call him the same thing. What do you mean? I asked, surprised, and started listening to him carefully. I just learned something shocking from a common friend of ours. Ryan was cheating behind your back for a long time, Lucas revealed. You're lying, I shouted, fresh tears stinging my eyes. It's true, he sighed. I'm sending you proof, just check it out. As I opened the file with shaking hands, I got the shock of my life. Ryan had actually been cheating on me. Please don't tell me you're gonna fall into despair again, Lucas asked. No, I'm done wasting tears on him. It's time for payback, time for revenge, and I've got the perfect plan in mind, I replied coldly. After that, I shared my revenge plan with Lucas. Are you sure this is the way to go? Please don't get caught, he sighed. This is the only way, I replied firmly and cut the call. A few days later. I was back at Ryan's house, but this time it wasn't for him. It was for his father, James. He was going to be the key player in my revenge plan. Atlas, what are you doing here? James asked with concern, seeing me enter his house. Are you here to see Ryan? Sorry, but he moved out a few days ago. No, I'm not here to see him. I can't face him right now. I just couldn't stay away from this house. Too many memories, I replied, breaking into fake tears. Atlas, please don't cry, he said, placing a comforting hand on my shoulder. I can't tell you how upset I am with Ryan for doing this to you. I sincerely apologize on his behalf. Your apology won't change things. Ryan broke up with me after 3 years of relationship, and that too when our wedding was near. I can never forget this, I continued. I know it's not easy to forget, but I'm here for you. Please tell me what you need, he said. I almost smiled. It seemed my plan was working. Making James fall for me was going to be far too easy. Thanks, James. Your support is all I need, I replied softly. Why don't you stay here for a while? And you're always welcome to come here, he smiled. I nodded. All right, I'll do as you say. This means a lot. As I talked more with him, I realized my plan was working successfully. 3 days later. Hey James, I hope you don't mind me coming to your house again and again, I said, acting worried. Of course not. You're always welcome here. You're too nice to me, I sighed. I'm your son's ex. What will Ryan think of me? It doesn't matter what he thinks, he replied firmly. And I believe you can think of me as your friend too. Really? You're too kind, James, I exclaimed. You deserve all the kindness in the world, especially after what you've been through, he said softly. I suddenly pulled him into a quick hug. Thanks. You're the one who truly understands me. James hesitated for a moment before gently putting his arms around me. You're not alone, Atlas. I'm here for you. As I gazed into his warm, comforting eyes, I couldn't help but think how easy this was. James was falling right into my trap, just as I had planned. Would you like to stay for dinner? He offered. I would make something you like. Are you sure? I don't want to impose. He chuckled. It's no trouble at all. I enjoy the company. I smiled, masking the satisfaction bubbling inside me. Then I'd love to. So what are you making? I asked casually. Your favorite, fettuccine alfredo pasta. He smiled. You remember? I asked, genuinely surprised. I remember everything, he replied with a hint of sadness. Well, let me help you. No, I can manage. You just wait for a delicious plate of pasta. He grinned. I smiled back. All right, guess I'll watch you cook today. Maybe I'll learn a few tips too. Of course, be my guest. A while later, James arrived with 2 steaming plates of delicious-looking pasta, placing one in front of me with a warm smile. This is amazing, I exclaimed. Well, I might not be good at everything, but I'm definitely good at cooking, he said with a grin. I think you might even compare to those Michelin chefs. It's surprising, though. Ryan was always bad at cooking, I frowned. Yeah, he never learned anything, James replied dismissively. But what about you? I guess I can make a thing or two. I'm not a star chef, though, I chuckled. You'll have to show me your cooking skills sometime. Next time for sure, I smiled at him. For a moment, we ate in comfortable silence. I felt too normal, and suddenly I had to remind myself why I was here. I looked at James hesitantly and asked, James, do you ever regret anything? Sometimes I feel like I was never enough for Ryan. James's expression darkened slightly. That's not your fault. Ryan had his own insecurities. You were never the problem, and you didn't deserve what he did to you. I watched him in satisfaction. He was still worried about me. He cared for me, and that was enough for my plan to go on. A few days later. James and I were meeting at the park today. It had been my idea. Honestly, I was growing tired of meeting him in the same places where Ryan and I had shared so many memories. I knew a change of scenery would bring good luck, especially since my plan was unfolding perfectly. I had successfully gotten close to James, and I could see him beginning to fall for me. You're here, I smiled as James walked towards me. As soon as he got near, he pulled me into a warm hug. It had become a common way for him to greet me. I missed you, he said sadly. It's only been 2 days since we met last, James, I chuckled. Really? It seemed longer to me, he sighed. I touched his cheek gently. I'm sorry. If I knew it would affect you like this, I would have managed to take out some time for you. No, it's all right. I understand you were busy. How about a short walk? I suggested. He nodded and casually reached for my hand, holding it as we strolled. A strange flutter stirred inside me at his touch, but I quickly pushed the feelings aside. Don't worry, I promise to make up for the last 2 days, I chirped, masking the weird feeling inside me. Really? How do you plan to do that? He asked, smiling. I'll just spend twice as much time with you. I'll be holding you to it. So, are you enjoying the walk? Didn't I say this park would be a good idea? I enjoy doing everything with you, he replied sincerely. You like me that much? I asked curiously. More than you know, he replied softly. Why would you? I suddenly asked, feeling guilty. I'm not worth it. He caressed my cheek gently. That's not true. Don't let your past or anyone else define you. You deserve all the good in the world. My heart began to ache for some reason, and a sudden wave of suffocation washed over me. James, I need to leave. What, so suddenly? He asked worriedly. Yeah, I just remembered I have some pending work, I replied quickly before leaving him without another word. Walking toward my home, a sudden wave of guilt and something else I didn't recognize washed over me. Was I doing the right thing by following my revenge plan? 2 days later. You didn't have to come all the way to my house to check up on me, I said to James weakly. You're unwell. How could I not? He replied with concern. I'll stay here as long as you need me. His words suddenly reminded me of the time I was with Ryan. I recalled being really unwell once, but he had said he couldn't come because he was busy. Back then, I thought it was normal, but now, here was James, going out of his way to take care of me. Thanks, but I'll be fine. You don't have to strain yourself. I'm not going anywhere, no matter what you say. I suddenly felt tears well up in my eyes. James was so different from his son. Was I really doing the right thing by playing with his heart? For the first time, my entire revenge plan started to feel cruel and meaningless. James, I am sorry, I stammered. What for? He asked in confusion. I just felt I've been unfair to you, especially when you always take time to meet me, I lied. Wait, is it about the day you left without a word? You don't have to worry about that. I guess I said too much that day. No, you didn't. You were just being honest, I replied sincerely, taking his hand in mine. Thanks. I guess I was too quick, not realizing how it would affect you after everything you went through with Ryan. I'm sorry. I should have waited, he admitted. I looked at him with guilt and concern. I had been too cruel to James. He didn't deserve it. James, I started telling him the truth, but something stopped me. Shush, he said, putting his finger to my lips. You don't have to say anything. I understand. Suddenly, as I gazed into his eyes filled with love, I understood why I couldn't bring myself to tell him the truth. It wasn't just James who had fallen for me. I was slowly falling for him too. And if I told him the truth, I would lose him forever. No, I couldn't let that happen. I couldn't lose him too. James, please stay here with me, I said with a hint of sadness. Of course. I could stay with you as long as you want. He smiled softly. I sighed in relief, knowing he won't leave me, no matter what. A week later. I had recovered now and was finally going to James's house after a long time. My revenge plan was long forgotten. My feelings for him were real now. All I wanted was to be with him. No schemes, just us. As I entered the house, my stomach turned as I saw Ryan talking to James. This was the first time I had seen him since our breakup, and I hated it. Hey James, I smiled at him, completely ignoring Ryan. But instead of receiving this warm smile like always, he looked at me with a cold expression. You seem close to my dad, Atlas, Ryan sneered. It's none of your business, I snapped. I was still worried about James's strange expression. I believe it is, especially if it's related to me, Ryan grinned annoyingly. What do you mean? Not everything is about you, I retorted. Really? You mean your revenge plan wasn't about me? He asked, feigning innocence, a playful smirk tugging at his lips. You jerk, I started in anger, but James interrupted me. Is it true, Atlas? Was I just a pawn in your revenge plan? He asked sadly. I wanted to lie to him, to tell him it wasn't true, but looking into the sadness in his eyes, I just couldn't bring myself to. I'm sorry, James, I replied, looking down guiltily. He stared at me in shock and disbelief. How could you, Atlas? You knew I liked you. I cared about you. I am really sorry, James, but I was so upset after learning Ryan cheated on me that I didn't even know what I was doing, but I'd already dropped my plan for revenge, believe me, I confessed. How do you expect me to believe you after everything you did to me? I always supported you, even when Ryan was my son, yet you played with my feelings like this. I want nothing to do with you now. No, James, please don't say that. I know I was wrong, but I'll make it right. Please, you don't have to leave me too. I begged. My voice was trembling. With a hurt look, he replied, You and Ryan only know how to play with others' feelings. Get out of my sight, both of you. From now on, I don't want anything to do with either of you. I stood frozen, my heart sinking. As James walked away, not once turning back to look at me, each step felt like a painful reminder of everything I had lost. I turned back to confront Ryan about all this mess, but he was already gone. Consumed by the weight of my actions, I stood there, alone. 2 days later. I had been trying to reach James for the past 2 days, but he wasn't answering my calls, and Ryan was nowhere to be found. Still, no matter where Ryan was hiding, I was determined to track him down and confront him about the mess he had left behind. I knew if I could get the truth out of Ryan, I could make James see reason, make him understand what really happened. Did you find him? I asked my friend Lucas on the phone. Yeah, it seems he's living with his current boyfriend. I'll send you the address. I looked at the address determinedly. Today was going to be the day he answered my questions. A little while later, I stood outside his door ringing the bell. Who is it? Ryan opened the door with an annoyed expression on his face. So, we finally meet, I smirked. What the hell are you doing here? He asked angrily. I've come for an explanation. Tell me, why do you want to keep ruining my life? And how did you know about my revenge plan? Ruin your life? You must be mistaken. I have no interest in your life, he shrugged. And about your little revenge? Maybe you should remind your friends to watch their words. Lucas shared it with a friend who, after a little bribery, shared it with me, he smirked. I suddenly grabbed his collar, my voice shaking with frustration. Stop lying! Lucas would never do that to me. I know you've been out to get me for a long time. Just tell me why. I never did anything to you. Really? Why don't you ask him if he shared your revenge plan with anyone or not? He scoffed. Anyway, you always made me feel inferior. And yet you think you did nothing? You were so caught up in your perfect little world that you never even noticed the people around you. What are you talking about? I asked in confusion. Right. Now you'll act as if you did nothing wrong. People like you would never care about guys like us, he shot back. What do you mean people like me? I am like you, Ryan. No way. You can never be like me. You are always surrounded by fame, success, and happiness, while I have to struggle to even keep my job. I stared at him in shock. How did I not see that Ryan felt this strongly about me? I'm sorry, Ryan. I never meant to hurt you, nor did I ever want you to feel inferior. I always believed we were the same. But belief is not everything, Atlas. He chuckled without humor. Does that mean you always hated me? I asked sadly. No. I would be lying if I said yes. I did care about you in the beginning. I really felt we were the same at that time until you kept getting ahead in your job while I was stuck in the same place. Our friends, our family, everyone adored you. They all believed that you deserved someone better than me. I'm sorry, I didn't know, but I never once believed that. That doesn't matter. I felt suffocated in our relationship, just like I did in childhood, he confessed. Childhood? What do you mean by that? I asked, surprised. My dad was just like you, Ryan said coldly. My entire childhood I lived in his shadow while he basked in his status and popularity, and I was left to suffer alone. He never once cared about how it affected me, just like you. But James seems so nice, I stammered in shock. Yeah, but he wasn't, Ryan admitted. And when I saw our relationship taking the same shape, it made me furious and afraid. I started hating you, and all the resentment that had been building inside me since childhood pushed me to make you suffer too. You could have talked to me. There was no reason to take such a drastic step. See, you still don't understand. I don't want to talk to you anymore. Leave, he said firmly. I opened my mouth, trying to find the right words, but nothing felt meaningful enough. So I simply turned away and walked out of his house, my heart heavy with the weight of finally knowing the truth. 3 days later. I had been trying to contact James to explain everything to him, but he wasn't responding at all. But I wasn't going to give up this easily. I knew I had to talk to him, no matter what. James, I said in surprise after he finally picked up my call. Why do you keep calling me, Atlas? I have nothing more left to say to you, he replied coldly. James, please listen. I have something very important to tell you. Really? I guess it must be about Ryan again. Bringing up his mistakes won't make you innocent, he retorted. I know, and I'm not asking you to forgive me. Just hear what I've got to say, I pleaded. I've had enough of your lies, Atlas. Please, don't call me again, he said, and hung up. I sighed in frustration. He finally picked up the call, yet refused to listen to me. But no matter what he said or did, I was going to talk to him and tell the truth. 2 days later. I was back at James's house again. Each time I had come here before, I had left with nothing but silence and disappointment. James had shut me out completely, refusing to answer my calls or acknowledge my presence. But today felt different. Today I was determined to make him listen, to make him understand. What are you doing here? He asked as soon as he saw me standing at the door. I've come here to talk to you. Just listen to me, please, I pleaded. There's nothing to hear. I've already heard everything, he replied coldly. No, you haven't. It's about Ryan and it's related to you, I shot back. What? I hope you're not lying again, he said in shock. No, I'm not. Ryan has hated you since childhood, I replied, telling him the complete story. After listening to it all, I could see shock and remorse in his eyes. How did I not know this? Where did I go wrong? He started mumbling. I reached out for his hand. You didn't do anything wrong. Of course I did. I could have been there for him, but I wasn't, he shot back. I didn't even know my status affected him so much that he felt overshadowed by me. I turned him into this cruel person he is now. I sighed. I think you're not the only one to blame, though. But what are you planning to do now? I'm going to make things right. I'm going to talk to him and apologize for everything. And you think he'll listen? Maybe not, but I've got to try. I have to ask for another chance from him, and also give him a chance to redeem himself. You're right. Let's go talk to him. I guess we all have things that we regret. A few hours later. We stood at Ryan's door, waiting for him to open the door. I was anxious about seeing him again, especially with James by my side. I had no idea how he was going to react. Dad? Atlas? What are you guys doing here? We came to talk to you, James replied. Huh? Talk about what? About our past mistakes. I'm sorry that you suffered because of me, James apologized. What? You told him everything? He pointed a finger at me. I had to, Ryan. It's time we all stop regretting our pasts and forgive each other, I replied. Forget our pasts. It's easy for you to say. I'm not forgetting or forgiving anyone, he shot back. Please, Ryan, it's not like you're innocent, I pleaded. Maybe I'm not, but I don't care. I don't regret scheming against you or hurting my dad. You all deserve it. What did you say? What scheme? A young man said, walking into the house. Ben? You're back so early. Ryan looked shocked and worried. Yeah, I am. What was all that about? Didn't you leave Atlas because of his manipulative nature? Because you didn't actually love him and felt suffocated? What? Did you tell lies about me, Ryan? Was breaking up with me near our wedding not enough? I shot back in anger. I had to lie. I couldn't tell Ben the truth. I actually loved him, and he would have never forgiven me if he had known the truth, Ryan shouted. Great. So you've been lying to me all this time. I didn't expect that from you, Ben retorted. Ben, please, I had my reasons for it. Please forgive me, Ryan pleaded. Of course not. Not after you lied to me all this time. I'm breaking up with you, Ryan, Ben declared. What? No, you can't do this to me. I love you, Ryan shouted in tears. You should have thought about this before. It's better if you leave this house as soon as possible, James replied coldly. It almost seemed like the perfect revenge when Ben broke up with Ryan, just like he had with me. Yet after knowing everything, I couldn't help feeling sorry for him. Ben, don't take such a drastic decision. You should first listen to him, I said, defending Ryan. Yes, my son might have done many wrongs, but I'm partly to blame for him. Please listen to him once, James added in. I don't want to hear anything from any of you. You should all leave my house right now, Ben shouted. Seeing it was no use talking to him, James and I walked out of the house silently. A little while later, Ryan followed us out. You guys are to blame for all this mess, he shouted at us. What? We didn't do anything. This was all on you. You reaped what you sowed, I shot back. Really? Nothing would have happened if you two didn't come here today. You both ruined my life, he shouted. Ryan, please. I just came here to talk to you, to ask for another chance. I didn't know something like this would happen, James explained. Yeah, you never do anything. Things just happen, right? I've had enough of that. I don't want to do anything with either of you, he retorted. What do you mean? James asked worriedly. I mean I am cutting all ties with you. I never want to see your faces again, he shot back. Ryan, you're making a hasty decision. Please, think it over, I replied. I don't care. I don't want either of you in my life. Don't ever try talking to me again, he declared and walked away. James and I watched him leave with a heavy heart. It seemed that instead of fixing things, we had only made them worse. 3 days later. I had started coming to James's house every day after what happened that day with Ryan. James had been drowning in guilt, and I wanted to be there to support him. Hey James, I'm here, I announced as I entered his house. Oh, thanks for coming here again, he replied, not really looking at me. Look, I even brought dinner, I said, trying to cheer him up. That's thoughtful of you, he mumbled. James, I said, suddenly grabbing his shoulders, you can't remain in guilt like this. What happened wasn't your fault. Wasn't it? I went there to fix things, but I only ended up making them worse, he replied sadly. Everything that happened was a coincidence. None of us were at fault. We couldn't have known Ben would end up hearing everything and break up with Ryan, so stop blaming yourself, I said firmly. I'm trying, but I can't help feeling guilty, he said, looking down. Don't worry. I'm here for you as long as you need me. I'll do my best to make you feel better, I replied softly. Thank you, Atlas. I guess I judged you wrong. You're not really a bad person. I told you I'm not. It's just that sometimes I end up making rash decisions emotionally, I admitted. Yeah, I can understand that, he said with just a hint of a smile. Did I finally manage to make you smile? I asked, grinning. I guess you did, he replied, smiling. Finally, I can relax a little now, I exclaimed. Let's eat dinner now. Don't tell me you brought takeaway from my favorite restaurant again, James asked. I might have, I winked playfully. Wow, I think you're spoiling me here, he exclaimed. It's the least I can do after what I did to you, I replied softly. Let's not dwell in the past. Didn't you say we should forget everything and start anew? I nodded with a smile, and our conversation continued in a much lighter tone. A week later. James and I had grown much closer in the past week, and my days felt incomplete without him now. It felt like I was falling in love with him all over again. Everything feels surreal, doesn't it? I suddenly asked James as we were walking around the park. What do you mean? He asked, surprised. I mean, Ryan breaking up with me close to our wedding day. And then I included you in my revenge plan, and finally, me falling for you. Everything feels like a dream to me, I explained. It feels real enough to me. Anyway, dream or reality, I'm just happy to be by your side. You don't think our relationship is weird? I mean, you're my ex's father and so much older than me. Aren't you worried about what others will say sometimes? I asked. I didn't know you cared so much about others' opinions, James frowned. Anyway, the age gap doesn't matter to me. And yes, it's weird you're my son's ex, but honestly, I always liked you, even when it felt wrong. I did guess that you had a crush on me, I chuckled. Honestly, the past me might have a problem with our relationship, but after everything that's happened, I don't care anymore. All I wish is to be by your side, I confessed and squeezed his hand. I wish the same thing, James smiled. You've been supporting me relentlessly the past week, and I'm grateful to you for everything. It was nothing. I'm just glad that you came out of your distress. Yeah, that's why I've been thinking of reaching out to Ryan again, he confessed. What? You must be joking. After everything he's done, you still want to talk to him? I shot back. I know he was wrong many times, but don't you think if you deserve a chance, he deserves it too? Anyway, I heard he lost his job too, as Ben revealed everything to his coworkers. I can't even imagine what he's going through now. What? Who told you all this? I asked, shocked. I had my ways to find out. Tell me, don't you think we should be there for him too? He asked softly. I sighed, thinking about what James had just told me. Maybe he was right. If I deserved a chance, then why didn't Ryan? Fine, let's talk to him. Though you shouldn't hope too much, James. He might still be angry at us. You could be right, but I still want to try my best, James admitted. I nodded and started wondering if everything would go well with Ryan. The next day. What are you doing here? Didn't I say I want nothing to do with you guys? Ryan said as he saw us at his new house. We've come to apologize, Ryan. Please, give us a chance. James replied. Really? And what makes you think that I'll hear you out? He snapped. I believe we all committed some mistakes, Ryan. Don't you think it's time to move on from the past and forgive each other? James asked. Forgive you? You guys ruined my life. I lost both my boyfriend and my job because of you. Tell me, how can I forgive you after that? He shot back. You can because I too forgive you for everything you did to me, I added in the conversation. Really? He said in surprise, but then turned away. It doesn't matter. You might forgive me, but I just can't. You don't have to forgive us now, Ryan. I know forgiveness doesn't come easy, especially after all those years, but at least we can take a step towards rebuilding our relationship, James pleaded. Ryan was quiet for some time before he spoke again. Maybe you're right. I have been wrong too. I have hurt you guys too. Yes, you have. So let's change and stop hurting each other and start anew. I think it's time we all forgive each other, just like James forgave me, I replied. He did? Does that mean you two are together now? He asked in surprise. I nodded and smiled at James. Yes, we are. Ryan sighed. Fine. Dad, if you really want to make amends with me, then I will try to forgive you for the past, but I hope you'll be there for me this time. James took Ryan's hand in his and replied, Yes, I promise to be there for you this time. I will make sure to make up for all my past mistakes. I'm sorry too, Ryan. I didn't know you felt suffocated in our relationship, but I should have noticed something, I confessed. It's all right. I forgive you, he replied softly. As we looked towards each other with a smile, I could feel that this time we could put our differences aside and rebuild our relationships. 2 weeks later. Everything had been going well in our lives. James and Ryan had rebuilt their relationship and now had the proper son-father relationship they always should have. Ryan and I had started talking again, and we had almost become friends. Ryan was slowly transforming into a better person, one day at a time. It's great to see how far we've come with our mistakes, right? I asked James as I leaned against him. You're right. We all went through so many changes to become our best selves, he replied softly. Yes, but the best thing is that we're together now, and there was a time I was worried I would lose you, I admitted. I was worried about that too, but all that matters is that we're together now. He smiled and gave me a small peck. Yes, I can't imagine my days without you now, I smiled back. Neither can I. I hope we won't ever have to part again. Don't worry, I'll even fight fate to be with you, I replied confidently. James chuckled. Really? Then I guess I'll cheer for you from the sidelines. What? You won't fight with me? I pouted. No, you do all the fighting. I've had too many fights for one lifetime. I'm going to enjoy my peace now. Fine, I guess I'll be fighting from your side too. But don't you think I deserve a little reward for all this fighting? I winked playfully. Reward? He raised his eyebrow. You mean something like this? He said and leaned in to kiss me. I met his lips tenderly, and soon we were lost in each other. And this is the perfect ending to everything, I grinned. Looking at James, I knew that from now on, our days will be filled only with happiness and love. Conclusion. After a few weeks, James and I moved in together. This was when we finally decided to take our relationship to the next level. James had forgiven me completely for my scheme, and we ended up healing each other from our pasts. It turned out that James was actually my true love, not Ryan, because every day with him felt perfect. I finally realized that he was the one I had been waiting for my entire life. Ryan completely transformed into a new person. He no longer held on to the past, but started believing in the present more. He reached out to Ben again, and after seeing the new Ryan, Ben accepted him completely. Ryan and I remained in touch, and he was happy to see his dad and me together and supported our relationship fully. But the best part is that I finally found my happy ending with James, just as I always wanted. We didn't have any marriage plans for now, but I knew for sure that he was the person I'd marry in the future. Our days were filled with laughter and love, and my playful side and James's maturity made us a perfect couple. The end. Do you think it's right to take revenge on someone? Thanks for watching. Consider subscribing to become a part of our Rainbow Force and stay wholesome.